Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you enjoy this content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting what-if scenarios. Your support means a lot to us, and if we reach 50 likes on this video, the next part will be out as soon as possible. So let's dive right into it. Preparations. I'm sorry for not calling you and Young earlier. Ruby's currently on her phone as she got a few missed calls from her family. You really made us worried about you, Ruby. First you kept ignoring our messages and calls, and now you jumped into a villain's attack. What were you thinking? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Taeyong said with anger in his tone as he currently looking at the TV, which is showing the news of what happened during Roman's attack, and how her and Izuku jumped in so recklessly. He then lets out a sigh. I know, I was so reckless and stupid, Ruby sighs. Look, I'm sorry for yelling like that. It's just that I don't want to lose two of my favorite girls. Taeyang said as he looks at a picture frame with a frown on his face, which he's standing with three other people, the first being another man with black spiky hair and red eyes, the second being a woman with red eyes and long black hair, and the third being woman who looks like Ruby. No, it's my fault for making you guys so worried. I'll tell you Dad and Young everything when I get home, Ruby said. Good, but remember that you're still in trouble. Taeyang states, I know. Love you, Uncle Tai, Ruby said. Love you too, kiddo, Taeyang said before hanging up. Hey, she tried to save someone, so you gotta admire her ambition. Taeyang turns around to glare at the black-haired man from the photo. This is Kuro Branwen, the father of Ruby Rose and the misfortune hero, Blackwing, who is well known for his courage and recklessness. Don't encourage her, you know she got her recklessness from your side of the family, Taeyang stated, irking the misfortune hero. Whoa, 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 don't try to pin this on me, Kuro argued before getting up from his seat and moving towards the former pro-hero. You know that you're just as reckless as I am, and your daughter got that from you along with your bad jokes. I've abandoned my reckless side a long time ago, and FYI, my jokes are awesome, Taeyang argued, and at least I don't get any innocent civilians involved. Hey, you know that my quirk is always like that. Plus, I've been making a lot of money for this family by busting my butt on hero work. What do you do all day? Hero demanded. Oh, suddenly you care. You want to know what I do all day, Blackwing? Taeyang asked, pretending to be intimidated. That's what I'm asking, Sunny Fist, Hero said. I make a home for this family along with being a teacher. That's what I do all day. Taeyang answers as he places a hand over his heart like he's acting in a play before stopping and looking at Kuro. And it wouldn't kill you to show a little appreciation. The two adults froze for a moment after they hear semi-quiet footsteps before looking over to their right. Young, we know that you're there. You can come out now, Taeyang sighed, causing a beautiful teenage girl with long, beautiful blonde hair, lilac eyes, pale skin, and a curvaceous figure to come out of hiding. This is Yang Xiaolong, the daughter of Taeyang, cousin of Ruby, and the niece of Kuro. She's very popular in school for her beautiful appearance, grades, and skills. Geez, I forgot how loud you guys are, Yang said, remembering the other times where she and Ruby have heard their fathers arguing, knowing that they're rivals. There's nothing to worry about, Firecracker, Kuro said. We're sorry if we disturbed you, Taeyang said. This is what me and Uncle Kuro always do. Yep, just some good old bonding, Kuro chuckled. Anyway, I heard that you and Ruby are going to UA. Congratulations. Thanks, Uncle Kuro, Young said before frowning as she saw the news. Is Ruby okay? Oh, she's fine. She called me earlier, so she should be home soon, Taeyang said. Although someone has to discipline her, He then turns to the misfortune hero, who is drinking from a flask. His eyes widen when he notices Taiyang and Yang staring, and he holds the flask out to the side, looking at it awkwardly before grimacing. Okay, fine. I'll give her a punishment when she gets home. Kuro sighs. Glad we can agree on something for once, Taiyang said. The three then hears the door opening as they look over to see Ruby, who has a surprised, yet happy expression on her face. Dad! The daughter immediately then leaps giddily onto Kuro's arm, shaking her legs in delight as her father hasn't been at the house for a while due to the amount of hero work he's been doing. Oh, it's so good to see you. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Nope. Kuro answered with a grin before patting his daughter's head. Later at night, chattering can be heard from outside as Taiyang, Kuro, Ruby, and Young are talking to each other while eating dinner together at the table. And that's how it all went down. Kuro chuckled before taking a sip from his flask. Those poor villains really underestimated my quirk. So how powerful is your quirk? Ruby asks. Well, I guess you girls are old enough so I can tell you about our quirks, Kuro said as he puts his flask away. My quirk is misfortune, which brings bad luck wherever I go. It's pretty handy when fighting villains, but it can be hard when I'm relaxing, especially I'm with other people around me. That explains why you got your name from. Yang states, it's way different from your quirk, Dad. Yeah, but my light quirk is the better looking one, Taeyang said with a grin. It lets me create light energy. Pretty helpful whenever there's a blackout, or if you want to see your cool dad pull off some flashy moves. His joke causes Ruby and Kuro to groan in annoyance. That wasn't a very bright move, Dad. Young joked. She and her father looks over to Ruby and Kuro, who are literally done with their jokes. Oh, come on, you two. Lighten up a little. Taiyang and Yang burst into laughter while holding their stomachs. So how long are you going to be here in town, Uncle Kuro? Yang asked. I'm going to be here for a while. Thought I might take a break since I've been doing a lot of hero work, Kuro answered. Really? That's so cool, Ruby squeals in excitement. I can help you find a job if you like, Taiyang suggested. That's thoughtful of you, Tai, but I can find one myself, Kuro reassured. So, mind telling us about your day, kiddo? The entire room went silent for a moment as they draw their attention towards Ruby, who is laughing nervously. Well, aside from what happened on the news, I've actually met All Might after school, and he gave me an autograph, Ruby answered, causing Yang to choke from her drink before coughing. Wait, seriously, you got an autograph from the symbol of peace? Yang asked. Yep. Ruby then takes out her notebook from her bag and opens it to show everyone the autograph she got from All Might. Wow, that's so cool, Taiyang said. That's pretty good, kid. Kuro chuckled before he starts thinking about the old days. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Tashinori? Oh, and I wasn't the only one who got an autograph from him, Ruby brought up, catching everyone else's attention. I was with a boy, and he got an autograph too. Yang, Ruby shouts as she blushes madly. Yang, it's not like that, Ruby shouted in embarrassment. Besides, it was my first time meeting him, and I just wanted to be friends with him. That's why I asked him if he wants to hang out sometimes. What's his name? Taiyang asked. Oh, it's Izuku, Ruby answered. My favorite student? Taiyang asked. That boy from the news? Yang added. Yeah, he's a really nice guy and likes superheroes like I do, Ruby said, remembering when he tries to save her. Plus, he tried to save me and this Kaken guy, so I want to return the favor and get to know him a bit more. Hate to burst your bubble, but you're not going out with your new friend, Ruby gasps a bit as she turns to her father. You're grounded for a week. What? But Dad, Ruby whined. No buts, Ruby, Hiro interrupted. I'll admit that was brave of you to try and save that kid who was captured. He pauses for a moment so he can take a sip from his flask. But that was still reckless and immature of you to break the rules like that. Come on, Dad, please, Ruby begs. I promise that I won't do it again. I said no, Hiro said while raising his voice. Please, Ruby then gives her father the cutest puppy eyes ever, which he tries to resist them before letting out a sigh in defeat. You know, I can't say no that face. Kuro chuckled before making a serious face. But you'll go with your new friend when your punishment is over. Is that clear? Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ruby hugs her father with a lot of love, only for her father to push her away a bit so he won't get crushed. He should be thankful that he's not getting a hug from Young. You're welcome, kiddo, Kuro said. Oh, and more thing. What is it? Ruby asked. If he tries anything on you. He pauses for a moment before placing his weapon on the table. Let me know. Yeah, because I'm not gonna let anyone do anything dirty to you. Yang finishes her statement by cracking her knuckles. Ooh, I don't think he's that type of guy, Ruby said while sweat dropping. Kuro, when was the last time you cleaned your weapon? Taeyang sighs as the table is now dirty. 2 days later, Daegaba Municipal Beach Park morning. After the Roman incident 2 days ago, everything started to settle down. The morning sun slowly rises up as Izuku, who is wearing workout clothing consisting of a white t-shirt and light blue track pants, is currently struggling to pull a big fridge by using ropes. He continues to pull with little to no success because of All Might, who's in his hero form, sitting on top of it. Hey, 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 it's pretty comfy up here on this fridge. How are you doing down there? He asked before Izuku collapsed face first into the sand. People move these every day without the need of super strength. That's true, but there's an extra 600 pounds with you sitting on it, Izuku states weakly as he slowly raises his upper body up before turning to the symbol of peace. Nah, I've lost weight. I'm currently 560, in this form at least, he answered, causing Izuku to sweat drop before looking at the trash around them. Anyway, why did we come here again, and why am I hauling garbage? Izuku asked. Ha ha ha, take a look at yourself. You're not ready for my power, All Might answered while taking pictures of Izuku with his phone. What? I thought you said that I was worthy 2 days ago? Izuku cried before looking down at the sand and screams as a cloud of depression forms over him. Flashback. Wait, what do you mean inherit? Izuku asked as he's completely confused. Inherit what? This causes All Might, who's in his real form, to laugh. You should see the look on your face. Don't worry, I'm not gonna force this thing on you. The man took a few steps towards Izuku before stopping and raising a finger up in the air. Listen well, young man. This is your choice. He pauses for a moment before pointing at the kid as he spat out a bunch of blood while asking, Do you want to accept my awesome power or not? What is he talking about? Izuku thought to himself. There are a couple of things you should know about my abilities, All Might said after wiping the blood off from his mouth. Journalist thinks that my quirk is super strength or invulnerability. Whenever people ask me about my quirk in interviews, I always laugh while making a joke to avoid the question. It's because the world needs to think that the symbol of peace is a natural-born hero, but I'm not. There's nothing natural about my ability. I wasn't born with this quirk. It's a sacred torch that's been passed on to me from another person. Someone gave you this quirk, Izuku asked in shock and confusion. That's right, and you're the next person that'll receive this quirk, All Might answered. Wait, hold on. This is a lot to process. It's true that there's a lot of debate to what your quirk is. Nobody has ever figured it out. It's one of the world's greatest mysteries, and people are still talking about it online. Izuku states as he starts getting swirly eyes while getting more and more confused. The idea of passing on a quirk or inheriting it makes no sense to me. I've never heard of it before. Powers are supposed to be unique to each individual, and ever since the first superpower was first discovered, no one has ever been able to give their quirk to another person like a present. Izuku continues to mutter nonstop, as All Might just stared at him with a blank look on his face. "Ooh, sounds like you're overthinking this whole inheriting thing," he said before shouting, "Stop nerding out." "Huh?" Izuku stops muttering before looking at All Might. "You'll just have to accept this crazy truth. I can transfer my power to someone else, and that's just one of the many secrets of my ability." He then held his hand out as it looks like something is glowing. "The true name of my ability is One for All." "One for all," Izuku repeated. "That's right," All Might answered. "One person improves this power and can pass it down to another. It continues to grow as it's passed along. This is the truth behind my strength and how I'm able to save those in need." "But why would you choose to give me a gift like that? What if I can't live up to it?" Izuku asked. "I've been searching for a worthy successor for a long time," All Might answered. "But then I saw you jumped into action. You may be a quirkless fanboy, but you still chose to try and rescue those two kids. You acted like a hero." Izuku is still completely speechless as his eye starts to get watery, which All Might took notice. "Seriously, you gotta stop crying if you want to inherit my quirk. Come on, kid." All Might chuckled while Izuku wipes his tears away before standing back up. "I'll do it, All Might. No reluctance. That's how I figured you'll respond," All Might replied. Flashback ends. "Calm down, kid. I'm talking about your weak body," All Might said as he walked towards Izuku, who has stopped screaming before looking at his idol. "My quirk, One for All, is a whole lot to handle. The combined physical strength of everyone else who has used this power creates a hurricane of pure force. An unprepared body can't fully handle, and it'll cause your limbs to explode off your body if you try to use it." Seriously, Izuku shivers at the thought of losing his limbs before looking at the trash around him. "Oh, I get it. Moving all of this trash is like an intense training session to improve my body." "That's correct, but there's another reason too." All Might then turns around and moves to the fridge. "I did a little online research yesterday. It turns out that this part of the beach used to be beautiful, but it has become a wasteland for the past few years." He then slightly taps on the fridge, creating a small dent. "That's right. Because of the ocean currents, everything that gets dropped in the water ends up here," Izuku said. "People take advantage of that when they're illegally dumping their trash. Everyone has avoided this place ever since it's been filled up. Heroes these days are more concerned about showing off and catching flashy villains," All Might states as he places a hand on top of the fridge. "Things were different before quirks. Services is what matters back when heroes are all about the community, even if it is pretty boring." As he continues talking, he slowly presses it down, causing it to bend constantly before breaking as the kinetic energy causes the trash behind him to get sent flying, revealing a beautiful view of the sunrise. "Here's your first step of becoming a hero, young man. Restore the coastline of this entire section of the beach." Wait, all of this," Izuku stutters as he looks at the huge pile of trash. "But there's so much. It's impossible." "Young Midoriya, you want to go to Yua, right?" All Might asked. "Yeah," Izuku answers as he turns to look at the No One hero. "It's the best school around. I know it's a long shot, but I'm gonna try my best." "You got a lot of spirit, fanboy," All Might laughed before turning around to look at the sun. Remember that being a hero isn't easy without a quirk. It's not fair, but that's how it works in the real world. UA is the hardest hero course to get into. So that means that I have to prepare my body for your quirk really fast. US exam is in 10 months, Izuku said. Don't worry, kid. All Might turns around while holding a bunch of papers that is filled with a planned out schedule. I got you covered with my handy aim to pass American Dream plan. Follow this to the letter and you'll be able to clean up this beach just in time for the UA exam. I also detailed every other aspect of your life while I was at it. Even my sleep is scheduled, Izuku said as he scans through his new schedule. If I'm being honest, this is gonna be super hard. Think you're up for the challenge? All Might asked. Yeah, I'll work very hard to meet your expectation, Izuku answered, and with that, Izuku's 10 months of hell has begun. Izuku's new schedule has made the boy consider changing his usual schedule in order to meet All Might's expectations. Izuku goes to the beach after school and on weekends so he can clean up the beach. After that, he'll do various exercises and workout routines like push-ups, sit-ups, swimming, lifting weights, and performing a 10 km run. Even with running, he still has to study at school. Whenever Izuku comes home, he tells his mom to make food that is appropriate for his diet and good for building up his body. At school, Izuku continues to study hard in order to keep his grades up. He feels like that he has to work more, so he adjusts his schedule so he's doing double. 1 week later, school has been released as Izuku is currently walking out of the building while reading through the schedule. Izuku has been working hard for the past few days, and even though he doesn't want to collapse, his face shows that he was exhausted. He sees Bakugo ahead of him, who isn't even looking at him, and this started the day after Roman's attack. He lets out a sigh before making his way to the beach. You're here pretty early, young Midoriya, All Might greeted as he's in his real form. I know. I thought I might get a bit more time in if I show up early, Izuku said as he took a deep breath. Hey, Izuku! Both All Might and Izuku jumped after hearing a cute voice, a very cute familiar voice. The two turns to their right to see Ruby running towards them. Ruby, what are you doing here? Izuku asked in shock as the girl stops while taking a few deep breaths. I was trying to find you after school, but you weren't in the building. But then I saw you running outside, so I ran after you, Ruby answered before looking up to see the No One hero. Hey, All Might. Too loud, kid, All Might said as he spat out blood. Huh? All Might's here? The No One hero froze after hearing a man calling out his name. No way. Where? A woman shouted. Way to blow my cover. Say that it was a mistake. All Might whispered. Oh, whoops. Sorry, I must have been seeing things. I don't see All Might, Ruby exclaimed loudly, causing the couple from afar to groan in disappointment. Aw man, that sucks, the boyfriend sighed. I wanted to get his autograph, the girlfriend whined before the couple leaves, causing the three to let out a sigh. That was close, Izuku said. Sorry for almost blowing your cover, Ruby apologized. Hey, don't worry about it, young Rose, All Might reassured with a smile, which Ruby smiles back before letting out a small giggle. Oh, before I forget, I came to talk to you, Izuku, Ruby said. Remember what I said to you last week. You know, we should hang out sometimes. What do you say? Uncle Tai told me that you're a nice guy and you love superheroes. I think that we can be good friends. Those are the words that echoed in Izuku's mind, causing Izuku to remember. Oh right, I remember. Sorry, there's just a lot going on with me right now that I might have forgot about it. Izuku apologized before finishing it off with a nervous laugh. No, it's my fault. I couldn't tell you since I was grounded for about a week, Ruby admitted. but my punishment is over, so it's all good. Oh, okay. Well, Izuku stutters for a moment before taking a deep breath. Well, I'm not sure we'll get to hang out today. I got a lot of work to do. Oh, come on. I've been waiting for a week. Plus, you look exhausted. Ruby states as the look on Izuku's face shows how exhausted he is from working hard, to which All Might took notice. You haven't been following the plan, have you? He spoke up, causing Izuku to jump and look at the No One hero, who is shaking his head before sighing. Kid, it was designed to have you improve your athletic abilities in time for the exam. If you keep overexerting yourself, the results are gonna be the opposite of what's expected. He's right. Come on, Izuku. Try to at least take a break now and then. I'm sure that you can still find time to work hard, Ruby said. Well, Izuku think for a moment before smiling. You're right. That's great. How does tomorrow sound? Ruby suggested. We can hang out in the afternoon until the evening. Yeah, sounds good, Izuku agreed, but I'm not sure how this'll affect my schedule. Ha ha ha, the No One hero laughs as he turns into his hero form, surprising Ruby and Izuku. I got you covered. All I have to do is make some adjustments to your schedule. Midoriya residence, later in the evening. After another day of working out at the beach, Izuku is now currently at the dinner table with his mother as they're sitting down and eating their meals. It was during this time that Izuku's cheeks were slightly red, obviously nervous about going to spend an entire afternoon with Ruby. What if he screws this up? What if he does something wrong to Ruby? Those thoughts kept swirling inside his head as this was his first time of hanging out with a girl. Hey mom, Izuku spoke up. Yes, Inko asked. Are you feeling okay? Do you got a fever? The mother immediately rushes over to her son and places a hand on his forehead to feel his temperature. You feel normal? I'm okay, Mom. I'm not sick. Izuku reassured with nervous chuckle. Something happened today. What is it? Inko asked. Well, Izuku pauses for a moment before gulping. I'm actually gonna hang out with someone at school. Really? Who is it? Inko asked. It's Ruby. She's the girl from the news. She was thankful to me for trying to save her and Kaken, that she wanted to return the favor by hanging out with me tomorrow afternoon. Izuku answered. He then looks up and gulps again, since telling your parent that you're going to hang out with someone that's an opposite gender of you is not the easiest thing to do. Izuku looks at his mother, only to see that her eyes are getting watery as she trembles. Are you okay, Mom? He asked until. My baby boy is going out on a date. Inko bawled in joy as she gave him of the most affectionate hug she has ever gave to her son. And this hug ain't normal, as it looks like she's crushing Izuku's entire body. Wait, what? Izuku's entire face heats up after processing what his mom said before struggling to get out of the hug so he won't get crushed to death. Mom, it's not a date. You said that you're going out with Ruby. I can't believe my baby boy is going on a date with a cute girl. Inko bawled as she doesn't let go of her son. I'm so happy for you. Thanks, Mom. We agree that we'll meet at Degaba Municipal Beach Park tomorrow, and we're gonna be at the arcade. Izuku stuttered as his face turns more and more red until he got out of the hug and takes a few deep breaths. He then sees his mom quickly grabbing all of the plates, cups, and silverware and washes them before grabbing her son by the arm and starts dragging him. What are you doing? Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna help you pick out some clothes, Inko cheered. You gotta make sure that you look nice for your date. I told you that it's not a date, Izuku shouted as his face turns bright red her again. This is something that he kinda regrets. However, he is thankful that his mom is helping him get ready for tomorrow. Dagaba Municipal Beach Park. The following day, Izuku is currently fiddling his fingers and looks down while trembling. He can't believe that the day is here, the day that he gets to hang out with Ruby, the cutest girl that he has ever met. He's currently wearing a green All Might hoodie that is left open with a white t-shirt underneath, blue jeans, and his signature red shoes. It took him and his mother a while to figure out which outfit is perfect for going to the arcade. You can do this, Izuku said to himself after taking a deep breath while compressing a mini workout equipment that he bought so he can get some small bodybuilding in when he's not busy. It's just me and Ruby going to the arcade, together, alone, with a bunch of other people staring at us if they got the chance. Hey Izuku, Izuku heard the cute voice and looks up. Oh, hey Ruby huh. Izuku literally froze and his entire face heats up when he sees Ruby running towards him. He starts sweating and feels nervous like Bakugo is creating multiple explosions around him. And he had a good reason to act this way. He has seen Ruby in the school uniform before, but this outfit is different. Ruby's current attire consists of a gray tank top with a black rose symbol on it and a red and black jacket over, a silver skirt that stops between her thighs and above her knees with black leggings underneath, and her normal black shoes. I'm sorry if I'm late. Yang was helping me with my outfit and hair. Ruby apologized. Izuku couldn't even speak right now as the girl he's staring at. He has seen a couple of other girls in the past who are either cute or beautiful, but this is one case where it's two in one, like he's staring at cute angel that has some beauty aspects. Her hair is still its usual self, but the outfit she's wearing shows that Ruby is not revealing too much, but she's also not trying to hide herself as the skirt was able to show fit she is, mostly due to all of the running she has done with or without her quirk. Oh my god, she looks. He keeps repeating to himself as he stutters. Are you okay, Izuku? She asked in concern before looking at herself and starts to feel uncomfortable. Do I look weird? And no, you look great, Izuku confessed before covering his mouth as his entire face heats up. He can't believe that he just said those words to a girl, but he can't help himself after seeing Ruby in her casual outfit. You, Ruby couldn't help but blush deeply at Izuku's comment while laughing nervously. She then places her hands behind her back while kicking the floor. She tends to get those things from guys who have a crush on her for her adorable personality and cute appearance. But this time was different as it was a genuine and honest opinion from a guy that's pretty normal and not someone who tries and hit on her. Thanks Izuku. Why you look great too. Thanks. Izuku responds with a nervous chuckle. Are you ready to go? Yeah, come on, we gotta hurry or else the arcade is gonna be filled. Ruby giggled as she and Izuku starts making their way to arcade by running. Tatooine Shopping District. I can't wait to play games at the arcade. Ruby said. What about you, Izuku? The new schedule that All Might gave is definitely a big change from the old one. Now I gotta find a way to manage my time for the new one. I can still work hard, but I gotta make sure that I don't overdo it or else I'm gonna end up more exhausted and I won't meet his expectations. Ruby sweat drops as she's looking at Izuku, who is muttering while reading his new schedule that All Might gave him. Izuku, Ruby called, catching the boy's attention. Was I talking to myself? Izuku asked in embarrassment. Yeah, a little. Ruby chuckled nervously. Sorry, it's a bit of a habit. Izuku admitted sheepishly. It's fine. We all have bad habits. Ruby reassured before the two lets out a soft laugh. Hey, wanna get a snack before we head to an arcade? I don't know. I kinda don't want to ruin my diet and all. Izuku admitted. Come on, a little snack wouldn't hurt. Izuku looks at the girl, who is giving him a smile. Okay, if you want, I can pay for it. Izuku offered, bring the nice kid that he is. That's thoughtful, but I got enough money. Ruby reassured. I know, but since you brought me here and suggest that we should hang out, I want to at least return the favor by at least buying it for you, Izuku states. You do have a point. Ruby giggles. You can be so sweet sometimes. She then starts walking ahead of Izuku, who is blushing after what she said. He's literally gonna buy a girl something to eat. But he knows that he wants to do something for Ruby as he doesn't want to be selfish towards her. The two kids keep walking after Izuku catches up to Ruby. They look at the stops to see where do they want to get for a snack. The two continue searching for a while until they decide to get something at an ice cream parlor. The two walks out a bit later with ice cream in their hands as Ruby got strawberry, while Izuku got mint chocolate chip hash. Izuku couldn't help but chuckle at Ruby as she's acting like a little girl when she's eating her ice cream. Ruby, you should slow down before you get a. The boy was about to finish talking until he sees Ruby placing a free hand on her forehead while wincing, her face turning blue. Ooh, brain freeze, Ruby shouts. Are you okay? Izuku asked in concern as he tries his best to hold in his laughter. I'll be fine, Ruby answered. She puts her free arm over her mouth and nose before breathing into it in order to warm the air. She continues breathing into her hand for a few seconds before stopping and removing her hand from her mouth and nose. Phew. Izuku looked at Ruby for a moment before finally bursting into laughter as he holds his stomach with his free arm. Ruby sees Izuku's current expression, causing her to get annoyed at first as she forms a cute pout with her cheeks. Izuku stops laughing after seeing Ruby's expression, causing him to sweat drop with an awkward smile on his face. Sorry, Izuku apologized. The two continues to look at each other until they burst into laughter. I should try to slow down next time, but I can't help it since how much I love strawberries, Ruby laughed. It's okay. I'm like that sometimes when eating katsudon, Izuku admitted before looking at his phone to check the time. We should head to the arcade. We don't want to get lost in the crowd. Right. Ruby nods in response as the two starts making their way to the arcade while eating their ice cream. Nint Arcade. Izuku and Ruby arrived at the Nint Arcade, which looks like an average arcade place with a bunch of neon lights, arcade machines with various games, a prize corner, break area, and lunch area. The two kids paid for their passes so they can play in the arcade, and as they start walking around, Izuku starts to become nervous. See, come on, Izuku, say something, Izuku said to himself while compressing his mini workout equipment. Is there anything that you want to play? He spoke up, causing Ruby to look around to see which game catches her interest. Oh, how about this one? She asked as she points at a fighting game. Hey, that's Hero Fighters, Izuku shouts in excitement. It's one of the most popular games of all times. The fighting roster consists of all of the famous pro heroes today. It's one of my favorite games, Ruby said. What about you, Izuku? Oh, I only play a few games. I'm mainly into comic books, Izuku admitted with a nervous chuckle. Oh, okay, I'm into comic books too, Ruby chuckled. The two moves towards the game machine before swiping their passes in order to play. Ruby took the Player 1 controls, while Izuku took Player 2 before each of them selected their favorite heroes, Blackwing and All Might. Watch out, I'm pretty good at this game, Ruby boasted with a grin. I'm pretty good too, Izuku said, causing the two to smile at each other before they start playing. Izuku and Ruby carefully analyze each other's movesets and fighting style in order to try and gain the advantage. At first, it'll be Ruby that has the advantage until Izuku catches up. This pattern goes back and forth for a while until a couple of matches later, where the video game announced. Player 2 wins. Ruby was in complete shock that Izuku managed to beat her 10 times. 10 times. Sure, she may have lost to Young a few times, but she couldn't get a winning spree. Cheater, Ruby shouted before pouting, causing Izuku to jump a bit before getting flustered. Wait, I wasn't cheating, I swear, he confessed, only to see that Ruby is still making that face. Why, you gotta believe me, and please calm down. People are staring at us. Huh? Ruby blinks a bit as she noticed Izuku's cheeks turning red before looking around to see that a couple of people are looking at them, causing a hint of pink to form on her cheeks. Oops, sorry. It's fine, Izuku said nervously. Let's go play something else. Sounds good. Ruby finishes with a nervous laughter before the two walks away from the machine. She noticed that a few people are still looking at them, causing her to get nervous before she covers her face with her hands. She never thought that her rage would draw this much unwanted attention to her and Izuku. Are you okay, Ruby? Izuku asked. I'm fine, just waiting for everyone else to stop staring at me. Ruby muffled, which shows Izuku how afraid she is when it comes to big crowds. There's nothing to be afraid of. It was just an accident, Izuku said in an attempt to comfort her. Really? Ruby asked while lowering her hands from her face. She looks at the boy for a few moments before letting out a small sigh and smiles. Thanks, Izuku. You're welcome, Izuku said. The two looks over to see a dance arcade machine with some neon lights. But that was not the only thing that caught their attention. What caught their attention was a tall teenage boy dancing. This boy has short, messy blonde hair and dark blue eyes, as his outfit consists of a black hoodie with 2 yellow arcs on the chest, blue jeans, and black sneakers. Wow, that looks fun. Wanna try it out? Ruby suggested. I don't know. I'm not really good at dancing, Izuku admitted while scratching his cheek. Aw, come on, it'll be fun. Ruby then grabs Izuku's hand and starts dragging him to where the dance game is at. Play Party Rock Anthem LMV. Party Rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. The male teenager continues to dance while placing his feet on different steps on the platforms so he won't get a bad score. The way that the boy is dancing is both graceful and professional, like has been taking dance classes for all his life. Wow, he's pretty good, Ruby said. Yeah, he is, Izuku states as he and Ruby continues to watch the boy dancing until he struck one final pose once the song ends. Wow, that was so awesome, Ruby cheered while clapping, catching the blonde boy's attention. Oh, thank you, the blonde boy said as he gets off the dance platform before recognizing the two. Do you two want to give it a try? Why, you can go first, Izuku offered. Thanks, Izuku, Ruby said as she gets up on the dance floor and swipes her pass so she can play. She then starts searching through the songs before finally selecting one. Play Just Dance Lady Gaga FT, Colby O'Donis. I've had a little bit too much. All of the people start to rush. Ha ha, Ruby starts dancing to the beat while placing her feet on each tile in order to get a high score. Most of her dancing usually consists of small stomps, but still has some small other moves like a twirl that make her a decent dancer thanks to Yang teaching her how to dance. Wow, your friend is pretty good, the blonde boy said. Why, yeah, Izuku replied as he can't help but look at Ruby. The way that she twirls really made the tips of her hair to flow along with the movement. Her cute laughter is something that's soothing and heartwarming. Her silver eyes shines bright and beautifully like a full moon at night. Movement shows that she has a decent figure for her petite size. Smack. The blonde boy looks at Izuku, who just smacked himself in the face to get any crazy thoughts out of his head so he won't act all perverted, especially towards his new friend. Snap out of it, Izuku, he thought to himself while holding his right cheek and looking down. You're just at the arcade with her. You don't want to do anything weird. We're just hanging out as friends. Calm down. Excuse me. Izuku looks up and turns around to see the blond boy, who has a concerned look on his face. Are you okay? You just smacked yourself in the face. I'm fine, Izuku answered nervously. I was just trying to get rid of a fly that was on my cheek. He quickly removes his hand off of his cheek and quickly looks at it before looking at a semi-reflection of his face in a black screen before letting out a sigh. Yup, I got it. Ooh, okay. I know how that feels, the blond boy said before recognizing him. Hey, aren't you and that girl from that villain attack from last week? Yeah, we are, Izuku answered before slightly looking away for a brief moment while he sweat drops. Wow, I still can't believe that people remembers that. I think that was pretty brave of what you two did, the blond boy admits while giving him a thumbs up. Oh, thanks, Izuku said while rubbing the back of his neck. I am Izuku Midoriya. John Arc, John said with a smile. Do you want to go after your friend? I'm not sure, Izuku said as he looks down while fiddling with his fingers. I'm not that good at it, and it looks complicated. It is complicated, but it's not once you get used to it, John states. Really? The two boys looks at Ruby, who is almost done with the song as she continues to dance. My sisters told me that dancing and fighting are the same thing, John said. I get it now, Izuku said after realizing what the blond boy is talking about. They both have movements and reflexes. Yeah, and both leads to injuries if you make one wrong move, John said sheepishly while sweat dropping along with Izuku. Yahoo! That was so much fun, Ruby cheered before getting off the dance floor. Hey guys, what did you think? Why, you were pretty good, Izuku answered. Yeah, you did great, John said. Thanks, Izuku. You too. Ruby took a long pause before laughing nervously. I forgot to ask for your name. I'm John Arc, John greeted. Nice to meet you, John. I'm Ruby, Ruby said while waving before looking at Izuku. Wanna give it a try? I'm not so sure if I'm ready, Izuku answered before he started moving, without even walking. He realized this and turns around to see Ruby pushing him towards the dance floor, causing the green-haired boy to freak out. What are you doing? Come on, please try it. Dancing is also like exercise if you think about it, Ruby states. Oh yeah, Izuku realizes what she meant before smiling and chuckling. Okay, I'll dance. Yay, good luck, Ruby cheered. Izuku took a deep breath and starts sweating like crazy as he awkwardly walks up to the screen after swiping his pass to play the game. He then starts scrolling to see which song to play before selecting one. Once the music starts playing, Izuku starts to place his feet on different tiles while doing an extremely awkward dance. Is he okay? John asked in concern. I think so, Ruby said skeptically before looking concerned. Okay, this isn't so bad, Izuku said to himself while trying to dance. It's just me playing the game. There's nothing to worry about. Trip. He spoke too soon as he is now face flat onto the floor as he got a game over after failing to step on the platforms. Ouch. The next thing that Izuku hears is snickering, which turned into laughter. He slightly looks up to see Ruby laughing at him, causing his face to turn red in embarrassment. He felt like a big fool for falling in front of his new friends, especially when one of them is a girl. Are you okay? John asked as he helps Izuku back up on his feet. I think so, Izuku answered in embarrassment as he still hears Ruby laughing. I'm sorry. It's just that you look pretty funny when you dance, Ruby said, trying to stop laughing. She finally stops laughing after seeing Izuku's expression. If you like, we can help you. You can? He asked. Yeah, it'll be easy and fun, John answered with a smile. Sure, Izuku said with a nod as Ruby swipes her pass as she gets on the second dance floor that is next to Izuku. Hey John, think you can show us while he tries to mimic you? Ruby asked. Sounds good, John said as he stands next to the dance machine while making sure that the green-haired kid can see him. Thanks guys, Izuku said as he and Ruby looked through the songs to see which one will be easy but fun. How's this one? Oh, that song is so fun, Ruby squealed. Let's do it. Play Thriller Michael Jackson. Okay, just try and stay calm down and follow my movements, John said. Right. Izuku nods his head as he and Ruby starts dancing to the song. Izuku's relieved that he's doing a simple but fun dance as he starts to imitate John and Ruby's moves. Though he does admit that he looks kinda silly since it's almost similar to a zombie, but this kind of silliness is not embarrassing in any way. There you go. Keep it up. You're doing great, John encouraged. I'm doing it, Izuku said with shock before chuckling. I'm really doing it. That's the spirit, Ruby cheered. 'Cause this is Thriller. Thriller Night. Izuku and Ruby continues to dance throughout the song as the boy starts to slowly get better and better at it. He eventually told John that he can stop, so he lets him dance without his help after giving him some encouragement. I never thought that I'd get to try these new things, he thought to himself with a smile. It's definitely a new experience for me, and I'm really enjoying it. All Might's right, while it's important to work, having fun is just as important too, and both have to be equal. Thank you, All Might, and thank you too, Ruby. Song ends. Phew. Izuku takes a couple of deep breaths while leaning his back against the rails of the dance floor. You're right, dancing is like exercise. Yeah, it is. You did good, Ruby said as the two looks over at the screen to see who the winner is. Player 2 wins. Ruby began to jump up and down while cheering as she won the dance game. Izuku then lets out a sigh and sweat drops as she continues to boast and brag, but he knows that Ruby has more experience in this than he does. Looks like we're now even. Ruby chuckled before stopping as she smiles. But you still did good, Izuku. You're welcome, John said. An Ark always does his best to help those in need. Lunchtime. After playing a few games and buying some stuff at the shop, Izuku and Ruby are eating with John as they decided to let him hang out with them. The three of them continues talking to each other. So that's how you learn to dance? Izuku asked. Yeah, that's what happens when you have 7 sisters. John laughed nervously, remembering the times he had with his siblings. I don't really have any siblings. I only have a cousin, but we like to call each other sisters, Ruby said. Wow, it really shows how close you two are, Izuku said. Really? You think so? Ruby asked. Yeah, Izuku answered with a nod. What about you, Izuku? Do you have any siblings? John asked. Actually, I'm an only child. I live with my mom since my dad is always working outside of Japan, Izuku said. I never really get to do these things since I was bullied when I was a little kid. Oh, sorry, we didn't know. John apologized. I know how you feel. Really? Izuku asked. Yeah, my parents and a few students at school didn't think that I can become a hero, John confessed. But I told them that I'm gonna try best. That's why I'm planning on going to Yua. You're going to Yua? Ruby asked. Me, Yang, and Izuku are gonna go to Yua too. Really? That's cool, John said. Yeah, with your willingness to save other and your kind heart, you got what it takes to be a hero, Izuku said. You really think so? John asked. Yeah, Izuku answered as he smiles. Thanks, John said as he then feels his phone vibrating a bit. He quickly takes it out and reads a text message. Oh, I gotta go. One of my sisters is here to pick me up. Awa already? Ruby whines before pouting. Hey, it's okay. We can still see him again. Izuku reassured before looking at John. Right. Of course. We can still hang out and talk, he answered before taking out a piece of paper. He quickly writes on it and shows them a phone number. Here's my number so we can call each other. Oh, great idea. Let's exchange numbers, Ruby suggested, and those words are what broke Izuku. That's right. Izuku is going to get a phone number from a girl. Normally, a guy would get excited if he gets a girl's phone number, but Izuku is more nervous than excited. Why, you mean it, Izuku said. Of course, silly. It's important to exchange numbers with new friends. Ruby giggled. Oh, okay, Izuku said as he and Ruby writes their numbers down and gives it to John before the three start exchanging each other's numbers. I can't believe that I got a girl's number, he thought to himself. Thanks, guys. I'll see you around, John said while waving a hand at them as he leaves. Bye, John, Ruby shouted as she and Izuku waves back, while the latter looks at the blonde man running. I never realized that there was someone who almost went through the same thing as me, he thought to himself as his entire world has been lit up a bit more. Izuku, you might want to eat before your food gets cold, Ruby said. Oh, you're right. Izuku gets flustered before eating his food again, later in the evening. So what do you think, Izuku? Did you have fun? Ruby asks as she and Izuku are now walking back home after they left Nint Arcade. Yeah, and I did, Izuku answered. Thanks, Ruby. I'm more relaxed now since my mind was so focused on training. You're welcome, Izuku. Everyone needs help, Ruby said. It's my way of saying thanks. Huh? For what? Izuku asked. For trying to save me when Roman tried to attack me, and for being my first friend, Ruby answered with a giggle. This made Izuku feels a little more special as he's been helping her out, and this gives him the encouragement he needs to become a hero. You're welcome, Ruby, Izuku said while clenching a fist. I'm gonna do everything I can to be a hero just like All Might. Just make sure that you don't overexert yourself, Ruby teased. I won't. Izuku sighs before the two stops. Well, this is where we part ways. My house is in that direction, Ruby said. I'll see you soon, and good luck with your training. See ya, Ruby. Izuku waves as he sees Ruby running to her house. Once she's no longer in his sights, he then walks in the opposite direction so he can head home. He now has to do his best to not only work hard, but also learn to have fun as well and make sure that one doesn't overwhelm the other. Dagobah Municipal Beach Park, 10 months later. It is now February 26th, the morning of the UA exam. All Might, who is in his real form, gets out of his car as he starts to walk to the beach in order to help Izuku get ready one more time before the exam starts. However, he then hears Izuku's screaming. He quickly looks up to see the boy standing on top of the pile of trash shirtless. The scream is not him crying or whining. It is the scream that shows triumph and determination as the morning sun rises up. Hey, holy crap, kid, he mumbled as he looks at the beach, and much to his surprise, it's no longer filled with trash as the blue ocean sweeps across the sand slowly. The sun rises up more and shines on the horizon, making the beach look more beautiful than it already is. You even did the outside area of this beach like I told you to. Seriously, there's not even a speck of trash left. Only a few minutes left until the exam starts. All that man did is tremble while looking at the beautiful scenery. Oh my, oh my. All Might continues to stutter until he suddenly transforms into his hero form. Goodness. Izuku starts to wobble on his feet and falls right off of the pile of trash. All Might sees this and quickly catches him as he's cradled the exhausted boy in his arms. Excellent work, he praised. I finished everything, All Might. I did it, Izuku said weakly as he looks at the symbol of peace. Do you think I'm ready? Yeah, you did good, kid. I gotta say, I'm impressed, All Might said as he carefully puts the boy down while he tries to regain his balance. He then takes out his phone and holds it in front of Izuku's face. Look at this. Huh. Izuku weakly looks up at All Might's phone and sees a photo of him crying on the floor. Is that? Yes, that's you crying 10 months ago, All Might answered as he puts his phone away while looking at Izuku. Look how far you've come. Such improvement. There was a lot of improvement as Izuku used to have a skinny body, but all of that training for 10 months has improved his body. He may not have a bulky frame, but he still has well-toned muscles to the brim, well-defined abs, and a chiseled six-pack. There's still a long road ahead before you can inherit my full power, kid, All Might brought up, but it's starting to look like you can do it. I've felt like cheated. You've spent so much time and effort for me, Izuku said as he starts to cry. Do you really think I deserve this? Ha ha ha, All Might laughs as he pats the boy on the back. It was your own hard work that did this, not mine. Now it's time to answer me this, young Izuku Midoriya. Are you ready to accept my power? Yes, sir, Izuku answered. That's what I like to hear. All Might laughed as he pulls out a small strand of his hair with his fingers. Someone told me this once. There's a difference between being lucky and deserving. One's an accident and the other is a reward. Never get the two confused. Take that to heart, young man. You earned this gift for your valiant effort. Izuku wipes his tears away and makes a determined face. Today was the day that he finally gets a quirk. He's ready to conquer through any challenge that the future will have for him. However, there was one more thing that Izuku has to do. Eat this, All Might said as he held the stand of his hair in front of Izuku's face. What? This was not what Izuku was expecting. In order to inherit my power, you have to swallow my DNA. That's how it works, All Might states. Wait, this isn't what I have in mind, Izuku shouted. He thought that it was gonna be like when a king honors and promotes a knight, but this was on a whole new level of crazy. Come on, there's no time. You'll be late for the exam. Eat, eat, eat. All Might shouted as the entire scene zooms out and cuts to Izuku's backpack and shoes, while the No One hero forces Izuku to eat the hair strand, who is screaming. Thank you for watching this video. Old video are in a playlist below. Goodbye. Quirks. Since the discovery of their existence, they have spread across the globe. Ever since a newborn has developed the first quirk, this new discovery began to spread all over the world. The dawn of this extraordinary era was marred by a breakdown of society caused by the sudden onslaught of criminals empowered by their newfound superpowers. In order to keep society from falling apart, the police force moved to prioritize leadership and to maintain the status quo, and as such decided not to use quirks as weapons. To fill that void, the profession of crime-fighting quirk users heroes began to exist. Thanks to the heroes, the crime rate has dropped exponentially. From that day forward, the goal of becoming the next heroes has been made, and that tradition continues to this day. Aldra Junior High. Students starts walking into the school one by one after some of them are late thanks to the police blocking the streets after a villain attack at Tatooine Station. As they continue to walk inside, one girl stops in the middle of the hallway as she decides to read the news on her phone about the attack. Wow, Death Arms empty. Lady, Kamui Woods and Backdraft are so cool. The girl squeals in excitement while slightly jumping up in the air, getting a few weird looks from a couple of other students. Hey sis, hurry up, we're gonna be late. Another girl calls out, catching the excited girl's attention. Coming, the girl replies as she puts her phone away before running to classroom. So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your future and what you all want to do with your lives. The teacher with blonde hair and blue eyes said. This teacher was wearing brown cargo shorts with a dark brown belt, black shoes, a red bandana on his left arm, a brown leather vest over a tan dress shirt with the right sleeve cut off. This is Taiyan Xiaolong. He used to be a pro hero until he retires and became a homeroom teacher. I could pass out some career aptitude test, but why bother? The teacher then grabs the pile of papers, and as the student starts to get concerned, until they saw him throwing the papers up in the air with a huge smile on his face. I know that you all are aiming for the hero track. The entire classroom cheers in joy as they all start to activate and show off their different quirks. One girl starts to engulf her hands in flames. A male student changes the skin of his arm to stone, another student stretching their fingers up in the air, and so forth. Yes, yes, you all have some amazing quirks, but no power usage in class. Taiyang raises his voice up in order to calm the students down. Hey, teach, don't lob me with these bunch of losers. A male student calls out, causing the entire classroom to go silent as they turn over to a guy with spiky blonde hair and red eyes. This is Katsuki Bakugo. He is the top student in the classroom and one of the top 10 in the school. Hei may be the best in academics and combat training, but he's mainly known for his cocky attitude and rude behavior. I'm the real deal, but these losers are lucky to end up being sidekicks to some busted D-lister. You think that you're better than us, Katsuki. The entire classroom began to shout at Bakugo in anger. Yeah, I bet that you can't even beat Mr. Xiaolong's daughter, another student shouted. While Taiyang's daughter is not in his classroom, she's still the most popular female in the school. Let's go, I can take you all on, Bakugo laughed. Yeah, you got impressive test results, Bakugo. Maybe you'll end up going to Yua High. Taiyang stated, shocking the entire class. He's gonna try for the nationals. A female student gasped. That school has 0.2% acceptance rate, a male student stated. It's impossible to get into that school. That's why it's the only place worthy of me. Bakugo then leaps out of his chair and stands up proudly on his desk. I've passed all of the mock tests. I'm the only one in this school who stands a chance of getting in. I'll end up being more popular than All Might himself and be the richest hero of all time. Everyone in the world will know who I am, and it all starts with Yua High. You got a fiery spirit, Bakugo, but you're not the only one who's going to Yua. In fact, there are 3 students that want to go to Yua too. Taiyang stated, causing Bakugo to freeze in place and to look at his teacher. My daughter and niece passed the academic pre-tests as well. No way Yang Xiaolong and Ruby Rose are going to Yua too. A male student gasped as the entire class starts to whisper with one another. It makes sense for Yang since she's the most popular girl in our school, a female student said. Yeah, she got beauty, brains, and brawn. A couple of male students became dazed at the thought of Yang. My daughter has no intentions of being in a relationship, and you boys will behave yourselves. Taiyang said in anger like the protective dad that he is. scaring the male students as they saw their homeroom teacher radiating with red aura. Ruby got a pretty good quirk, so she'll definitely make it, another student said. Mr. Zio Long. A student raised his hand, catching Taeyang's attention. You said that 3 are planning to go to Yua with Bakugo, but who's the third one? Oh yeah, it's Midoriya. He's planning to go to Yua too. Taeyang answered, causing the entire room to go silent and shocking Bakugo even more. The entire classroom peered towards a male student with messy green hair with black highlights, green eyes, and freckles on his cheek. This is Izuku Midoriya. He is the only student in his class who doesn't have a quirk. The entire classroom remains silent until they start bursting with laughter. Midoriya, you gotta be kidding me, a male student laughed. There's no way you're gonna get into the hero course without a quirk. Another male student laughed. Actually, they got rid of that rule. Izuku stated nervously while standing from his seat. I can be the first one. Boom. Izuku got sent flying back and ends up in the back of the classroom on the floor after Bakugo slams his hand onto the quirkless boy's desk with a small explosion. Listen up, Deku, Bakugo growled. You're the worst of these rejects, you quirkless loser. You really think that they let someone like you in when they can have me? No, wait, you got it all wrong, Kaken, Izuku answered out of fear while backing up against the wall. I'm not trying to compete against you, you gotta believe me. Izuku then looks down while trembling a bit. It's just that I always wanted to be a hero when I was a kid. I may not have a quirk, but I can still try my hardest, can I? You'll never hang with the best of the best. You'll die in the exam, Bakugo growled as the entire classroom are looking down on Izuku. Defenseless Izuku, this school is already crappy. Do you want to embarrass it more by failing so hard? Alright, that's enough, you guys, Taeyang demanded while raising his voice, causing the entire class to sit back down while Izuku gets back up. Bakugo, I would like for you to stay after school. All that Bakugo did in response is letting out a scoff while slightly glaring at Izuku without even turning around while the green-haired kid nervously sits back down in his seat. Mostafu, 12 p.m. A scream can be heard down the streets as a bunch of criminals are running out of the store as a man is leading them. This man has with green eyes and long orange hair with long bangs covering his right eye while wearing a red-lined white suit with long black pants, black shoes, small gray scarf, black gloves with buckled sleeves, and a black bowler hat with a small feather tucked into its red band. This was Roman Torchwick. He may be a D-rank villain, but he's a very notorious criminal for committing multiple robberies. Hey, get back here, the shopkeeper yelled as the robbers ignored him. Hey, that's Roman Torchwick, a woman said. Somebody stop him, the shopkeeper said. Cry all you want, but this catch is ours. Roman laughed as he and the robbers left the crime scene. Where are the heroes? A male citizen asked. Weird, normally one would swoop in right away. Another male citizen said. Maybe they're still recovering from this morning. A businessman stated. There's no stopping them now. A woman said. Yes, there is. The entire crowd turns and gets excited as a giant muscular man walks forward. This man was wearing a white t-shirt and green cargo pants. He also has blonde hair that sticks up, looking like rabbit ears. Do you want to know why? Roman looks behind and groans in annoyance. Because I am here. Aldra Junior High, 3:30 p.m. School had been just released as Izuku is currently packing up and was about to put his notebook away, only for it to be snatched away by none other than Katsuki Bakugo. I don't know what you think you're doing, Deku, but we're not done, Bakugo said as he shook his notebook in his hand. Izuku became nervous as 2 of Bakugo's followers walked towards him. Hey, what you got there, Katsuki? His diary. one follower asked as the bully held the notebook up, showing them the title, which reads Hero Analysis for the Future, Note 18. Don't tell me that you're writing notes on how to be a hero. It's so pathetic. Another follower laughed while holding his stomach. He's so delusional. Are real funny, guys. Izuku laughed nervously. Why, you can give it back now, Kaken. All that Bakugo did in response was creating a small explosion on both sides of the notebook, covering it with singe. Izuku yells in shock and whimpers as his notes has been damaged. That's so mean. He then lets out a panicked yelp as Bakugo tosses it out of the window. Most heroes show their potential at a young age. People look at them and know that they're destined for greatness. Bakugo stated, not even caring about Izuku's feelings. When I'm the only student in this lame class who's going to UA High, they'll be talking to me like that. They know that I'm the real thing. That's not ego talking, it's how good I am. Bakugo finishes this by placing a hand on Izuku's shoulder while slightly activating his quirk, creating small smokes on his shoulder. Here's some piece of advice from me, you damn nerd. Don't even think about going to UA or else. Bakugo and his followers starts to walk out of the classroom, leaving Izuku behind as the boy trembles in fear and sorrow like he has grabbed his hope and dreams and shatters them into a million pieces. But before the bullies leave the classroom, if you want to be a hero that badly, there's actually a better way. Bakugo spoke up as he stopped. Just pray that you'll be born with a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. Izuku trembles again and growls while looking back at the bully with a weak, angry face, only for Bakugo to create small explosions in his hands while glaring at the weak student. Is there a problem? He growled before leaving the classroom. He then starts making his way to another classroom before entering inside and sees his homeroom teacher waiting for him. Please have a seat, Bakugo. Taeyang said as Bakugo lets out an annoyed growl before sitting down. You know that attitude of yours isn't gonna help you become a hero. What do you mean? Bakugo asked in anger. Was it because of how I treated Deku? You know that damn nerd doesn't have a quirk, and he can't even do crap during the fitness test. First off, watch that mouth of yours, Taeyang demanded with seriousness. While he is laid back and a great guy, he knows when to get serious, and some students can be scared of him when he gets mad. Whatever, Bakugo scoffed. And this brings me to what I'm about to say next. Taeyang lets out a huge sigh. Yes, your academic grades are fantastic, and yes, your quirk is pretty cool. That's why I got what it takes to be the real deal. Bakugo smirked, causing Taeyang to pinch the bridge of his nose and shake his head in annoyance and disappointment. But there is something that'll prevent you from becoming the real deal. Your ego, your attitude, and behavior. Taeyang stated as this both confuses and annoys the explosion quirk user. You think that you're the best and you display that being so hot-headed, cocky, and downright villainous towards others. What? Bakugo looks at his teacher in anger, obviously offended that he's being called a villain. Taeyang sees this as he lets out a small sigh as walks next to him. I am serious, Bakugo. It takes more than just power and intelligence to be a hero. You also gotta have the heart and kindness to save others. What'll happen if you're rescuing a person? What you will say? Obviously not what you said to Midoriya. That's gonna put them in an uncomfortable position and won't give you the praise that you want. All that Bakugo did in response was letting out a scoff as Tai continues to lecture him about the differences between heroes and villains and how they act while pointing out how to improve. He's gonna be in detention longer than he originally thought. Outside, Izuku kept walking with anger as he's slightly looking down as he's now in the courtyard of the school. Kaken, you idiot. You can't go around telling people to kill themselves. What if I got myself killed? Izuku thought to himself as he continues walking. He then froze and looks up as he sees a girl with short black hair with red faded tints at the end. The one thing about this girl that he recognized are her big silver eyes, which he actually finds beautiful. Hey, is that... Wait, she got my notebook. Wow, all of these notes about superheroes are so cool. The silver-eyed girl continues to scan through each page of the notebook as her eyes sparkled with excitement. She then stops scanning through the notebook and turns around to see Izuku, who is still standing there. Oh, ooh, hello. All that Izuku did in response when the silver-eyed girl greeted was getting all flustered and started speaking gibberish, as he never really talked to a girl before, obviously because of how isolated he became due to him getting bullied all the time by his classmates. Holy crap, a girl is talking to me. What do I do? What do I do? He thought to himself as the silver-eyed girl approaches him. Is this yours? The girl asked as she's holding the notebook out to him, which Izuku noticed that is soaked. Sorry if it's a little wet. When I was leaving the school, I saw it in the pond, and I think that the koi fish thought that it was edible. She finishes her sentence with a nervous laugh. Great. My dreams have been turned into fish food, he thought to himself before looking at the girl as he starts to tremble. Why, yeah, that's mine's. See, can you give it back, please? Oh, sure. The girl answers as she hands the notebook back to its original owner. Izuku looked at it to make sure that the pages and writing isn't ruined before letting out a sigh of relief. Thank you for finding it. Izuku replied nervously. You're welcome, the girl said before scratching her cheek. Ooh, what's your name? Oh. Izuku felt like he's about to explode since a girl is asking for his name. Izuku Midoriya. Oh yeah, I've heard of your name before, the girl stated. You have? Izuku asked. Yeah, I remember. Uncle Tai told me and Yang about you. You're like his favorite student, the girl answered, causing Izuku to realize who he's talking to. Wait, so you're Mr. Zio Long's niece? Izuku asked. That's right, my name is Ruby Rose, Ruby giggled. It's nice to meet you, Ruby. Izuku greeted as he starts taking a few deep breaths so he won't pass out. Is it true about your uncle saying that I'm his favorite student? Of course, silly, Ruby said as the two of them starts walking out of the courtyard. Uncle Tai told me and Yang that you're planning to go to UA without having a quirk. Oh. Izuku then looks down and remembers what happened earlier in class today. Yeah, it's true. Flashback. A young Izuku Midoriya rushes to his mother, Inko Midoriya, while holding an All Might action figure and jumps up and down, asking his mom to turn on the computer. The mother then takes her energetic son to the computer room and turns it on as a video of a disaster scene plays. In the video, it was my dream to become a hero, just like All Might himself. The video continues to play as a giant muscular man wearing a red, blue, yellow, and white suit emerges from a pile of rubble, carrying multiple injured people. Fear not, citizens. Help has arrived, because I am here. Those were the words that All Might said, which excites the young fanboy as he held his figure up in the air. He's the coolest in the universe. Once I get my quirk, I'm gonna be a hero just like him. Young Izuku starts laughing just like All Might, while his mother looked back at the boy with a warm smile on her face. It was all I ever wanted to be, and when me and my mom went to go see the doctor. The scene cuts to Izuku and Inko talking to the doctor as the latter looks at the little boy. Sorry, kid, it's not gonna happen. Those were the words that left Izuku into complete utter shock as he dropped his figure on the floor. Those were the words that made me feel like someone destroyed my dreams right in front of me. I thought that I was gonna have Dad's fire-breathing quirk or my mom's quirk to move small objects, but it turns out that my joints ended up being normal joints, confirming the results. The scene later changes to nighttime back at Izuku's home as his mom is looking at her son, who is watching the same video. See that, Mom? He's always smiling, no matter how bad things get. He always knows how to make the impossible possible. Izuku then turns around to face his mother as both of their eyes get watery. Do you think that I can be a hero too? That is the question that finally breaks his mom into tears as she walks up to him and hugs him while the two of them tries to stop crying. I'm sorry, Izuku. I wish that things were different. Flashback ends. That was not what I wanted to hear. My world was crumbling. Izuku then looks up so he's facing Ruby. So I made my decision that day. No matter what anyone else thinks, I'm gonna do my hardest. He then sees Ruby just giving him a blank expression look on her face, causing him to sigh. If you don't think I got what it takes, then I understand. Actually, I think that you got what it takes to be a hero, Ruby admits with a smile. Wait, you think so? Izuku asked as he felt like his entire world was flipped upside down. Yeah, you continue to work hard despite what others say about you, Ruby said as the two starts to walk into a tunnel. All you gotta do is put a smile on your face. Why you mean like this? Izuku took a deep breath before mimicking All Might's signature laugh while putting a smile on his face. Why, yes, something like that. Ruby places her hands over her mouth as she tries to not laugh at Izuku's dorky side. Wow, you can be so cute, Izuku. Izuku felt like he's standing close to lava as his entire face turns red after hearing what she said to him. Did she just call me cute? Hey, are you okay? Ruby asked, having no idea what's going on. Huh? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a little hot. Izuku responded while looking away. Really? Ruby blinks a few times before smiling. Don't worry, it'll get cooler eventually. You know, we should hang out sometimes. What do you say? Ah, really? Izuku asked as the niece of the Silver Eye Girl actually wants to hang out someone like him. Yeah, Uncle Tai told me that you're a nice guy and you love superheroes. I think that we can be good friends, Ruby answered. Why, yeah. TT, that sounds like a good idea. Izuku answered before smiling. That sounds good, Ruby cheered, but then stops as she starts to sweat. Ooh, Izuku, is it getting hot in here? Really? Izuku then stops for a moment and sniffs a few times. Is something burning? Ruby and Izuku then sees that the entire tunnel has been set on fire with smoke rising, and even though the two of them quickly cover their mouths and noses so they won't inhale it, they still ended up coughing due to how strong the smoke and flames are. What's going on? Ruby muffled, trying her best to not inhale the smoke. You know you two shouldn't go running around without your parents' kitties. The two hostages heard a chuckle as they see Roman Torchwick walking towards them. Don't worry, we're just taking you somewhere away from these horrible flames. It'll be easier if you kids don't fight back or call for help. Ruby, we gotta get out here fast. All of Izuku's words were all muffled, but the two understands each other as they tried to break free, only to get more weaker and weaker from the flames and the suffocation. You know, we're so glad that we found you kitties. You'll be our best escape. Roman laughed as he lights up his cigar. Thanks. You two are real heroes to us. Boss, we better hurry before he track us down. A goon suggested. No way. This can't be the end, Izuku thought as he looks at his notebook on the ground. Someone, please, Ruby thought to herself as both her and Izuku's eyes get watery. Help. The two of them closes their eyes and write when they think it's the end for them. Whoosh. A huge wind pressure then appears as it knocked the flames away along with a couple of goons. Roman looks shocked before getting hit by the lid of a street sewer. What gives? Roman growled before turning around to see the giant man. Oh, not you again. Have no fear, you two are safe, the giant man said to Izuku and Ruby while smiling. Because I am here. If you want to fight, then have a taste of this. Roman takes off his glove, and then places a hand the side of wall as All Might slowly approaches them, causing fire to appear as starts to spread across the tunnel, while the flames grow bigger and more intense. Roman Torchwick. Quirk. Singed fingers. He can decide to burn anyone or anything with a touch of his fingers, and if he uses his entire hand, he can even set his targets on fire. He can't burn himself or set himself on fire, though. All Might then runs towards the flames before making a complete stop and arching back. Texas Smash. All Might then throws a punch forward, causing a huge wind pressure to make the flames disappear as it causes Roman and his goons to get sent flying into a wall after releasing Izuku and Ruby, who are now unconscious. Later. Hey, wake up. The giant man lightly pats Izuku and Ruby's face repeatedly before the two kids fluttered their eyes open to look at their savior. Ah, thought that we lost you two here. Izuku and Ruby are in complete and utter shock and excitement as they both let out a scream before getting up and scooting back, but the two of them still remained sitting down on the ground. Both of them started muttering as the person that saved him was actually their favorite hero. Well, looks like you two are moving around all right. Sorry about that back there. I didn't mean for you two to get caught up in my justicing. Usually I am more focused of keeping bystanders safe, but it turns out that the city sewer system is pretty difficult to navigate. The hero does his signature laugh, causing Izuku to stutter more while Ruby squeals like the fangirl she is. Anyway, thanks for both of your help. He then moves to the side and points at Roman and his goons, who are now all tied up and on the floor. I've captured the evildoers. The entire background changes to a red, blue, and white background with stripes and stars all over, representing America. I Izuku. I is that. Ruby can't even finish her sentence as her eyes become sparkly. It's the most amazing hero in the entire world. All Might, the real thing, standing right in front of us. Izuku answered as he and Ruby felt like they're going to explode from all of the excitement building up inside of them. He looks so much cooler in person. Izuku and Ruby squealed in excitement as All Might's teeth shines as a little twinkle appears from his signature smile. Holy crap, we gotta get an autograph. Izuku starts searching in his backpack for a pen as Ruby did the same with her bag. Izuku, look. Ruby points at his notebook, which is right in front of them as Ruby sees her book on the floor as well. Please sign our notebooks, Izuku said as he and Ruby picks up their books and opens it to see the words All Might, signed on 2 pages. Whoa, he already did. Ruby jumps up and down while cheering. I can't wait to show young Uncle Tai, my friends, and my dad. This is the best moment of my life. Thank you so much. This'll be an heirloom, a family treasure passed down from generations to come, Izuku said as he bows down with each word that comes out of his mouth. All Might responds to the 2 optimistic kids by giving them a thumbs up. Well, I better be going. All Might said as he takes a few steps away from Izuku and Ruby before facing Roman and his goons. The police will be here shortly, and they'll take care of you. You wish that you haven't made an enemy out of me, All Might. Roman growled as All Might ignored his threats as he facing towards the two kids. Stay out of trouble, you two. I'll see you around. All Might starts doing a couple of stretches as Izuku is left in shock. Wait, he can't go, Izuku thought to himself. I have so much to ask him. Now stand back, I'm taking off. Thanks for both of your supports. All Might then squats down before leaping up and flying high up into the sky. Huh? He then suddenly felt like two weights was added to his feet, and turns around to see Izuku and Ruby clinging onto his legs with their mouths open due to the wind pressure. Why are we doing this, and why did I come with you? Ruby shouted over the wind, obviously in fear and regret due to how high they are up in the air. Hey, 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 what do you think you two are doing? All Might asked in shock as he trying to push Izuku and Ruby off of his legs. Let go, I love my fans, but this is too much. No way, we're flying. If me and Ruby let go, we'll die, Izuku shouted, causing All Might to stop after hearing him. Ah, good point. There's so much we want to ask you personally, Izuku shouted. You're my all-time favorite hero. And you're my favorite hero along with my father, Ruby added, causing All Might to sigh. Very well, just keep both your eyes and mouths shut, All Might said as the two complied to his order. He then looks forward and lets out a small cough as a small drop of blood exits out of his mouth. Shit, not now. All Might soon lands on top of a building as Izuku and Ruby finally gets off of All Might's legs. Both of them looks like their souls have been sucked out of their bodies. My whole life just flashed before my eyes, Izuku spoke weakly. I feel like I've gotten off an intense roller coaster, Ruby wheezed. That wasn't a very smart move, All Might stated as he starts to walk to the end of the roof so he can take off. Bang on the back door for a while, someone will let you two in. Now I have to go. See you two on the flip side. Wait, Izuku calls out. See, can we at least ask one question? I got no time. All Might answered, and before he's about to take off, we want to know if we can be heroes. I want to be a hero like you and my parents, while Izuku wants to be a hero without a quirk, Ruby shouted, causing All Might to stop as those words catches his attention. Is that so? He asked. Yes, Ruby answered. Are you too familiar with the hero names White Rose and Blackwing? Yes, I have heard of them. All Might answered. They used to team up with Raven and Sunny Fist to become the Starks. So you want to be like them? Why, yeah, Ruby admitted with a nervous giggle. Well, you got what it takes, young lady, All Might said while giving her a thumbs up. You'll be a great hero just like your parents. Oh my gosh, thank you, All Might, thank you, Ruby cheered as Izuku smiles a bit. Anytime, All Might then turns towards Izuku. You said that you wanted to be a hero despite not having a quirk, right? He then starts to feel pain as steam rises from his body. Damn it, I must have used too much when I was flying. I can't let them see me like this. Why, yes, Izuku admitted as he fiddles with his fingers. Most people think that I don't have a chance of becoming a hero, but I want to prove them wrong. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought that saving people was the coolest thing you can do. I want people to see my fearless smile when I save them, and be the hero that everyone looks up to, just like you. Izuku and Ruby notices the cloud of steam covering All Might, and as soon as they're about to go see if he's okay, the steam disappears, causing All Might's true form to be revealed. His entire body has shrunk a bit and has a skeleton-like body. His hairstyle changes to a spiky, disheveled hairstyle with two bangs framing the sides of his face, and his clothes became baggy for him. A skeleton? Ruby screams before fainting. Ruby, Izuku rushes over to the girl and quickly catches her. Are you okay? Ugh, what happened? Ruby groans as she fluttered her eyes to the skinny man. Hey, what did you do to All Might? Are you an impostor? I assure you that I am All Might. He was interrupted when blood started leaking out of his mouth, scaring Ruby and Izuku more. Oh my gosh, you're bleeding, Izuku screamed. I'll be fine. All Might reassured as he starts to wipe the blood away. You know how those guys are always trying to suck in their guts and flexing so they can look buffed. I'm like that. That's impossible, Izuku screamed. Yeah, All Might is a giant man who's always smiling whenever he defeats bad guys and saves people, Ruby stated, causing All Might to sigh. There's always a lot of fear behind that smile, he admitted while sitting down. I'm counting you two to keep your mouths shut. He then lifts up his shirt a bit, revealing a bruised scar on the right side of his abdomen. He then sees their reactions, which they are horrified from seeing the scar. Pretty gross, right? I got it during a battle 5 years ago. My respiratory system was basically destroyed. My entire stomach is gone. I've went through multiple surgeries, but they didn't work. Right now, I can only do hero work for about 3 hours a day. Rest of the time, this is what I look like. No way. 5 years ago, Izuku gasped. That was during your fight with Toxic Chainsaw. Ruby recalls as she remembers seeing the fight with Yang when they were kids. Wow, you guys know your stuff. But no, that punk may have landed a few hits, but he couldn't bring me down. Most of the world never heard of this fight. I did my best to keep it hidden from the public. I'm supposed to be the guy who's smiling all the time. I'm the symbol of peace. People across the globe have to think that I'm never afraid. But honestly, I smile to hide the fear that's inside of me. A brave face that puts people at ease. This job is extremely dangerous. All Might then looks at Izuku with a serious look on his face. Pro heroes are constantly putting their lives at risk for others every day, and there are villains that can't be beaten without a quirk. So no, I don't think you can be a hero, young man. Those words at what shattered Izuku's heart and dreams even more as All Might, the hero that he admired ever since he was a little boy, told him the exact same thing that everyone else at school said. The boy looks down before saying, I see. Izuku, Ruby was about to put a hand on his back to comfort him, only to stop after seeing All Might getting up and walking to the door. If you still want to help people, then there are other ways you can do it. You can become a policeman. They get a lot of crap because a lot of heroes captured villains, but it's still a good occupation. It's fine to have a dream, young man, but you have to make sure that your dreams are obtainable. He finishes his sentence by leaving Izuku and Ruby alone, as the green-haired boy looks down in sorrow, causing Ruby to frown. TCH. Stupid symbol of peace getting in our way. Roman grumbled as he puts his gloves back on and throwing away a burnt rope that was restraining him and his goonies. Hey, you should be thankful that those kids went with All Might like a bunch of idiotic fans. One goon brought up as when All Might, Izuku, and Ruby left, one of the goons struggled to take of their boss glove so he can use his quirk. Yeah, but they ruin our perfect chance. Roman sighs in annoyance. But we're not giving up yet. We just need to find another way to make our big hit, gentlemen. He then froze for a second to see 3 kids walking down the alleyway, causing him to grin. There we go. Bakugo is currently in an alleyway, drinking a can of soda with his followers as he's finally free from detention, but still has an angry look on his face from going through stuff that he considers useless. Glad that you're finally out of detention, Katsuki. The first follower said, but weren't you a little harsh on Midoriya? Yeah, you two were like good friends when you were kids. The second follower said, annoying Bakugo even more. It's his own fault for getting in my way, he admitted while kicking a pebble. You shouldn't waste time on the guy. The second follower said, causing Bakugo to remember what Izuku said in class. Someone has to teach that nerd a lesson about the real world. Bakugo growls while crushing his empty soda can before creating an explosion, covering it in singes and dust before tossing it to the side. I hate it when he talks about being a hero. Hey, maybe we should go to the arcade so you can get your mind off of him, the first follower suggested. Fine, Bakugo sighed. You idiots, if we get caught, there's no way that I'll get into Ua, Bakugo growled before he sees that his burnt can is on fire. Huh? He got confused as to how his can was set on fire before looking up, only to see his followers running away out of fear. Hey, where the hell are you idiots going? Oh, you better watch your mouth, kid. Bakugo then heard a laugh before turning around to see Roman and his gang as they all have an evil look on their face. Guess we're gonna have to punish you since your parents are not around. With Izuku and Ruby. The two students continue to walk downstairs while they haven't said a single word ever since All Might told Izuku about the risks of being a hero. This was bugging Ruby as she can't stand to see someone looking so down like that. Hey Izuku, Ruby spoke up to see if she can get the depressed boy's attention. You heard what All Might said to me, Ruby, Izuku responded without even looking at him. His eyes then gets watery as he tries to not cry on his open notebook. He said the same exact thing that everyone else told me. I can't be a hero just because I don't have a quirk. That's why my classmates laughed at me. They think that I'm just a weak nerd who couldn't do anything. And now All Might, the symbol of peace, the hero that I've looked up to ever since I was 4 years old, said the exact same thing. He then looks at the silver-eyed girl, who is just staring at him in silence. Ruby, if you got something to say to me, then speak up. Izuku, you're not the only one who gets that kind of treatment. Ruby admitted, confusing the boy. What do you mean? He asked. You have a quirk and All Might said that you got what it takes to be a hero. Yeah, but my classmates don't think so. Yes, I do have a quirk, but I don't have the combat and social skills that Yang has. All that I'm good at is this. She then demonstrates her quirk by running past Izuku at blinding speed and appears behind him like she just teleported. Ruby rose. Quirk, Petal Burst. As the name implies, she can move at speeds that are nearly too fast for the eye to catch. She can use her speed to dodge attacks, disorient enemies, hastily retreat, and quickly counterattack. It is also capable of providing limited flight capabilities. Izuku looks in awe as he sees a couple of rose petals fall, which came from Ruby's running speed. He then turns around to see the girl to see what else she has to say. I never really interacted with a lot of people, and I don't have that many friends. Whenever my sister leaves me to be with her friends, I'm always left alone with nobody else to talk to. I didn't really have the courage, so that's why my family tries to help me to interact with others a bit more, only to get messy results. Ruby then walks up to Izuku after letting out a sigh. I don't know loneliness like you do. I have my own version. But that doesn't stop us from trying to reach for our goals. I meant what I said about you having the potential of being the hero. You just have to be brave, no matter what. And no matter what people say about us, we will not let those words bring us down. And even if we fall down, we can help each other out. That's what friends do, right? Izuku wipes his eyes to remove the tears and looks at Ruby in complete shock. Not only are those two similar in a way in terms of struggles and interests, but this girl, who he just met today, actually sees him as a friend. Why you think so? Izuku asked as Ruby lightly taps his forehead before making a cute boop sound. Huh? Of course, silly. She laughed a bit before smiling. I think that you're really nice. Thanks, Rub. Boom. The entire city gasped after hearing an explosion, causing the citizens to look over to see smoke rising from the air that is 3 blocks down from Ruby and Izuku's location. Is that smoke?" Izuku asked in shock. "This isn't good," Ruby said in concern as the two kids runs over to where they saw the explosion. Tatooine shopping district. The explosion causes a few debris to fall to ground, nearly crushing any shoppers as they run away from the fire. A few pro heroes has arrived on the scene, the first being Death Arm, who helped out during the giant villain incident this morning, the second being the bird hero Hitchcock Doodle, the third being the baseball hero Slugger, and finally the wizard hero Glinda Goodwitch. The four of them seize Roman and his goons, which are holding Bakugo down so he won't make any rash decisions. They got someone. Death Arms pounds his fists together and charges in to try and knock the villains away. Our pro heroes always jumping in without a plan. Roman chuckles as he took off his glove and touches the pro hero's arm after dodging his attack. What has society become today? Death Arms froze as Roman uses his quirk to set him on fire before screaming in pain. Roman then uses his cane, which is in his other hand, to yank the pro hero's leg, causing him to fall. "Hey Slugger, wanna see a home run? Batter up," Roman taunted as he set his cane on fire before swinging it against Death Arm's face, sending him flying into the baseball hero. "Look out." Death Arm's warning was too late as he crashed into Slugger. Death Arms, "Slugger, are you two okay?" Hitchcock asked in concern. Heads up, Glinda and Hitchcock jumps backwards to avoid incoming debris and gunfire coming from the villains. The wizard hero took out her crop and waves it in air, causing the debris to be lifted up before returning to where they belong, fixing them. She then stops the bullets and sends them straight into the ground so they won't hit anyone. "You clowns better stay back or this kid will become a singed corpse," Roman threatened as he sees Bakugo struggling to break free. "You bastards picked the wrong guy to mess with," he shouted. "I'm gonna send you flying all the way to hell. Let me go." Bakugo then creates an explosion after slamming his open palm against a goon, sending him flying. "Ooh, you got power, kid. I like you already," Roman whistled as he sees how powerful the boy's quirk is. "With your quirk by my side, I'll be able to rise up the ranks." Roman then places his gloveless hand on the floor, causing it to light up on fire while creating a dome. "Try using your explosions in a heated area. You'll just cause more damage." "Whoa, this dude is a legit supervillain," a bystander admitted, but is obviously afraid of them. A few more pro heroes arrived in the scene and does whatever they can to help out. Empty. Lady was about to charge in, but stops as her path became narrow due to her gigantic size and wants to prevent any collateral damage that she'll cause. Kamui Woods extends his wooden arms to grab a few citizens and students that are trapped within the fire and begins to escort them out. Backdraft starts to put out the fire that are beginning to spread in order to prevent it from reaching to the safe zone. "Glinda, can you use your quirk to remove the fire?" Death Arms asked as he and Slugger slowly get up with a few scratches on them. "What else do you think that I'm doing? But this kid's quirk is causing more flames," Glinda yelled as she continuously using her quirk to remove the fire, but then gets shot in her right shoulder by one of the goons, causing her to drop her crop. "Glinda," Slugger rushes over to the wizard hero and helps her up. "I'm okay," Glinda grunted while holding her shoulder. "We need a medic," Hitchcock demanded. "Look out!" Death Arms shouted as a burning debris is sent towards them, causing the four pro heroes to jump back to avoid getting hit. "It's no good, they're just keeping us away." "Glinda, can you use your other arm?" Hitchcock asked as Glinda picks her crop back up before getting up. "I'll take care of the debris and try to block incoming attacks until more reinforcements arrive," Glinda said as he uses her left arm to move her crop arm, lifting multiple debris while blocking incoming firearms. The pro-heroes continues to try their hardest to stop the villains, rescue Bakugo and any trapped citizens, and putting out the fire, only for the villains to counterback and resetting all of their hard work as Izuku and Ruby arrives at the scene. "What's going on?" Ruby asked. "It's Roman and his crew," a man answered. "They're causing a lot of trouble." Both Ruby and Izuku saw the villains and recognized them from earlier as they looked completely shocked. "Oh no, they must have escaped when we weren't looking," Ruby whispered to Izuku. "This is our fault," Izuku whispered back with a lot of guilt. He then looks at the villains and gasps to see that they're holding a hostage, which it's none other than his childhood friend. "Oh no." "What?" Ruby asked. "They got Keiken," Izuku answered before turning to Ruby. "I know he picks on me, but—" Izuku pauses as he's conflicted. He hates Bakugo's negative attitude, but he can't bring himself to fully hate him since he admires his strength and skills. Among the crowd was All Might, who saw the attack and places a hand over his scar while grabbing the pole of a sign, looking down with guilt after he recognized the villains. He heard a couple of citizens pointing out that the villains are the ones that All Might fought earlier and are in disbelief that they can escape before some started asking where he's at. "Damn it, how could I let this happen?" he cursed to himself while trembling a bit. "You say run." Without even thinking, Ruby then uses her quirk to dash right through the crowd and starts going towards the accident. "Ruby!" Izuku gasped in shock as All Might, the crowd, and the pro-heroes looked surprised to see the girl. "Hey, what are you doing?" Death Arm asked. "Get back here this instant. You're gonna get yourself killed," Glinda demanded, only for the pro-heroes to be ignored. "Huh." Bakugo looks to his left and sees Ruby dashing through the flames, which the wind pressure from her speed quirk protected her when the pressure blew the flames away. "Oh, not you again." Roman groans before turning to his henchman. "Stop her." The goon starts firing at Ruby, who dodges by running in a zigzag form, leaving rose petals on the floor. "Leave him alone," Ruby shouts as rushes in and grabs Bakugo. "Don't worry, I got you. Let's take care of your stupid quirk." Roman then grabs Ruby's legging with only forefinger, burning it as Ruby lets out a painful cry before changing his target to Bakugo's leg, burning it as well and causing the two to fall on the floor. "Ruby!" Izuku gasps as the pro-hero starts to run in. "Get them!" Death Arms yelled at the top of his lungs as they're about to go in and save Ruby and Bakugo, only to be stopped after a few bullets nearly hit them. "Keep firing, I got these brats." Roman slowly approaches the two kids. "You made a big mistake, Little Red. Guess I'm gonna have to take care of you first." Horrified at the possible sight of losing two people he knows, Izuku then pulled a Ruby as he ran through the crowd and starts charging in. Him too. All Might looks even more shocked while the pro-heroes gasp and groans in annoyance. "Oh my god, not again," Death Arms shouted in annoyance. "Stay out of this, kid," Hitchcock demanded. "Green beans here too," Roman groans in annoyance as Bakugo and Ruby looks over to see Izuku running towards them. Deku Bakugo was shocked to see a girl that he barely know running in to save him, but seeing the quirkless boy makes him even more shocked and gets annoyed by it. "You're gonna regret interfering, kid." The goons starts reloading their guns and points them right at Izuku. "What do I do? What would a hero do right now?" Izuku thinks about the notes he wrote down in his notebook. "Page 25, right." Izuku then took off his backpack and tosses it towards the goon, causing the stuff from his backpack to fly out. "What?" The goons were about to fire, only for their vision to be blocked by a couple of papers from Izuku's backpack. Roman then gets hit in the head by an All Might lunge, causing him to stumble a bit. "Ruby, Keiken!" Izuku then rushes over to the two and attempts to pull them by their arms in order to get them away from the villains, only to struggle. "What the hell? Why are you here?" Bakugo asked in annoyance. "I can't stand by and watch you two die," Izuku answered with tears in his eyes, shocking All Might. "Hurry," Ruby begged. "Get your hands off of me," Bakugo shouted. "I have to do something, no matter the cost." All Might grumbles to himself as his entire body starts twitching like he's growing muscles all over himself. "You've ruined my hat." Roman growls in anger before putting his hat on. He then jumped towards the three kids and prepared to place his entire hand on Izuku's head, while his henchman turns around prepares to fire their guns. "I should have killed you and Little Red earlier." "Look out," Ruby screams, causing Izuku to froze. "Save the kids," Death Arms shouted as he, Hitchcock, Slugger, Glinda, Backdraft, and Kamui Woods are about to jump in to try and prevent Roman from killing them. "Those villains will kill them." Whoosh, boom. The villain's assault has come to a fail after getting blown back a bit, causing everyone to look shocked as they want to know who interfered this time. "I am really pathetic." Izuku, Bakugo, and Ruby opens their eyes to see that their savior was none other than All Might. Ruby stutters in confusion, but is relieved that he came in just in time. "I told you the traits that makes a hero, but now I realize that I wasn't living up to my own ideals." All Might told Izuku only as he puts one foot forward and pulling a fist back while blood starts leaking out of his mouth. "Pros are always risking their lives. That's the true test of a hero." "Damn you, All Might," Roman shouted as he and his henchmen are about to attack the symbol of peace. Detroit Smash. All Might punched with so much force that it causes the villains to get sent flying into the wall, and while some collapsed before falling unconscious. All Might's attack also created a small tornado before disappearing as it starts raining. Music ends. The police arrives later on and arrests Roman and his gang before putting them in the back of a truck while the pro-heroes salutes them. All Might was soon surrounded by a bunch of fans while the news began to interview him. Meanwhile, Izuku and Ruby gets chewed out by Kamui Woods and Death Arms while Glinda lectures them for their reckless behavior. Bakugo just sat there and gave the two kids a glare, ignoring the praises he's getting from Hitchcock and Slugger. Later, somewhere in the city, Izuku and Ruby are now far away from the scene after they get chewed up by the pros. They continue walking and hoping to apologize to All Might later since he got his hands full with the press. "Hey." The two of them heard a familiar voice as they see Bakugo running after them before making a complete stop. He took a few deep breaths before looking at them. "Listen, I would never asking weaklings like you two for help. Don't think that you idiots can look down on me. You did nothing." He then turns around and starts storming away. "I don't owe you two jack shit." "Wow, is he always like this?" Ruby asked while she sweat dropped. "Yeah," Izuku answered nervously before sighing. "But maybe he's right. We didn't do much." "What are you talking about? We did our best, so it's better than nothing." Ruby stated, "I tried my best to save your friend, but it was you who saved me and him." Thanks for watching Boy Bye.